All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday night Adafruit show and tell. It's me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada. We're broadcasting here from the Adafruit factory. Are you stuck at home? Everything canceled? Nowhere to go out? Well, stay in and watch and maybe even participate in the show and tell. Everybody is welcome. Come on by. We're here for the next 25 minutes. We're going to check in with people from around the Adafruit community, some Adafruit team members, as well as people making cool projects. I want to show them off.
That's right. There's plenty of time to watch the news and prepare and all the things you got to do. But this is the time that we set aside each week to come together. We've been doing this for 10 years. One of the things we wanted to do is have a way for everyone around the world to show their projects no matter what's going on. So
from the safety of their homes.
Yeah. So join us here. Keep in mind, we will be doing this every single week. Pretty
forever.
much,
we've done it for 10 years.
Pretty much forever.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we'll talk about tonight and on our shows and more is how we do this, because we want a lot of other people to start using these tools. So if they're isolated and they're working from home a lot right now, they can do this too. So we're using a service called StreamYard. Check it out. It's very easy. We're a moderator in StreamYard. So as people come in, we're able to add them to the show and they're able to show their projects. And then we move on to the next person. So
very exciting.
Let's do it.
Speaking of which, let's kick it off with Melissa.
Hello. I do have something
Hey, Melissa.
I can show. I put together this little robot with a clue here, and it was based on John Park's little buggy code here, but I can go ahead and connect to it with my phone using the Bluefruit Connect app, and it just connects to it. And then I can, for one thing, I can change the color of the lights on here. Can you see it? No.
No.
There we go. Okay, I can like turn it blue or whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then I can also drive the controller with the control pad here.
Yay.
Go back. I can stop it. I can have it actually turn in place, which was code I added, or it can turn while going forward.
That's great. It's so cute.
That's all just driven with CircuitPython.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a lovely little project. Maybe we'll write it up at some point and people can get that from you.
Yeah.
So it's a clue. And what's the name of the robot?
This is the BitBuggy. Both of these are available through Adafruit.com.
Yay. All right. Well, CircuitPython controlled Bluetooth robots. They're here. They're here to stay.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for coming by and showing off what you're working on. It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Brian. Brian also has some stuff.
Hey, Brian.
So
let's show your screen.
I am sharing it. You guys got it there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I have been working on drivers for the ICM 2948, and it's a bit of a tricky one. So every once in a while when you're writing drivers, you actually have to look at the I2C traffic to figure out what's happening. Often I'll look at a working library and see how it's, what traffic it's sending and try and duplicate that. So on here's an example of some traffic that we've logged out. So we put some essentially print statements into our I2C helper library. So it just spits out every time there's a read or a write. Now, this is all hexadecimal, not meaningful to most humans. I've been staring at the stuff for long enough that I recognize a bunch of this stuff, like this is a bank change and other stuff. But I am also human, so I like to make it easy on myself. So I wrote a little thing.
Yay, humans!
Yay, humans, yay. Sometimes I don't feel like one, but whatever. So yeah, I wrote a little thing to decode this for me and give me some actual human readable names. So let's give it a go. So it's called regedecoder.py, and I believe I have a ICM log.csv. So this is the type of output I get.
Oh, that's nice.
It's got reads and writes. It's got the name of the register that's being written to or read from. I can detect when it's doing a write to set up a read, so I change what that's printing out. So yeah, this is super handy. It is a lot easier to grok to human readable things, even if it's still got some binary and hex in there, than it is to do it entirely in hex. So,
good stuff.
Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, I end up having to dump all of the registers into Excel and then pull them out in CSVs and stuff. So you can, that's not right. So
all right.
bank0.csv. So yeah, this is the example of the type of data it's working from. Yep, there you go.
Makes it easier for humans.
It
Yay!
does. Yay, humans.
All right, well, nice work, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, next up, Brent. Hello.
Hello, I also have things. We have IoT things as usual. So previously we were only able to use CircuitPython connectivity with Wi-Fi or LoRaWAN or LoRa. We kind of went in reverse, or BLE, and as of last week, we now have it with Ethernet. So we're going to get really bad glare. So I'm running the cheer lights example, and that lets you tweet hashtag cheer lights and then a color on Twitter, and it's not showing up really well on camera.
Yeah.
Camera's blowing out, but it's like a pale pink color.
Okay.
But it works with our Ethernet Featherwing, and it works with our Ethernet Shield, and it will soon work with all of. It works with Adafruit CircuitPython requests, which is like a request-like library that you can do HTTP interfacing, and then you can soon do MQTT as of tomorrow. So it's way quicker. You don't need to connect to your Wi-Fi access point. You don't need to deal with is the Wi-Fi access point at my school constrained? Does it have a login page? None of that. You just plug in a wire and it works.
Wires.
Wires.
The best. All right. Well, everyone can check it out. There's a new guide that you wrote all about using Ethernet with CircuitPython. A lot of people have tried it out. More people should try it out. Send bug reports if they have any questions or issues.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Brent.
Right.
All right. Next up, Anne.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
I completed my learning system guide using the brightwearables.com bag. It changes the lights, kind of an amber light kind of effect, and you can change images like a slideshow on this screen. So it's a very cute wearable. There's no soldering or anything, and it's very easy to code. So the guide's up in the Adafruit learning system if you'd like to try something out. And I'm moving on. I'm going to take that clue and put it on the Cricut, which we've normally been using for microbit. And the clue will allow us to display what's going on Cricut, and it kind of amps up some of the robotics projects that we've already displayed on Cricut. So look for that in the next week or so.
It's so cool because it's like the clue has the same pinout as the microbit, and so we didn't try it with the Bright Wearables, and it just we plugged it in and it pretty much just worked, which was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, we got the microbit. I don't want to take my clue out, but this compatibility is great. I know Bright Wearables is loving it. They've written some Bluetooth changing purses and proximity. So clue is wonderful.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Anne. And then that guide is live, and more guides coming soon using Clue with CircuitPython and robotics coming up next.
Yes.
Rad. Okay, cool. All right, next up, Scott, what are you up to?
Hello. If you've been paying attention for the last few weeks, I've been working on sleeping. CircuitPython used to just let the CPU run and run and run and run and run, even if
you look so well rested.
Yeah, not well rested at all. So I've been working on making it so that when you hit sleep, the CPU will stay powered, but it will stop running. So the clock to the CPU will actually stop. It's a bit tricky because we keep track of internal time using a clock that is on the CPU. So a lot of the work is actually moving all the things that use that off onto different ways of keeping track of time, depending on whether they need super accurate time, like pulse in, or not accurate time at all. So what I have here is this is Grafana. It's a really easy to use charting example. And one thing I like, and the reason that I'm using this rather than IO, is that it doesn't connect every dot. So you can see that the first left-hand side there is one run of this circuit playground on the tiny battery, the 105 milliamp. And you can see that it took, 2 horizontal ticks. Now it's still been running since the 10th is when I started this next one. And you can see the graph is much slower, which means that hopefully we're going to see, I don't know, I said 10 in my update last week, and I was like, oh, that's a bit optimistic, but I think it's on the order of like 4 to 6 x improvement in battery life, where this is only, it's sleeping for a minute and then waking up and reading 2 things and then broadcasting it and then going back to sleep. So I've been doing a lot of that recently, and the hope is that we can enable more, maybe solar powered stuff. Bill is to blame for that. I have an order coming tomorrow with solar panels, which will be interesting. And then the other thing I want to hopefully enable is like a conference badge that runs off a battery for a few days. We're not really talking about like years of battery life at this point, but this is going to be a really good foundation for even more power optimization in the future.
Yeah, and a lot of it is like, how do you do the power optimization in CircuitPython, where it's having a scripting language, it makes it a little bit different. We have the autosave, we have mass storage, we have audio playback happening in the background. So it's not trivial. It isn't like,
right.
We can't just set like the register and say bye. Like a lot of things will be left hanging. We want to make sure that when we come out of sleep, everything is restarted properly.
Yeah, in this case that I'm working on now, I think there's another world where we could, to get really low power, you basically turn everything off except for the main clock and the pin watcher. That's how you get really low, really long battery life. And I think we could do that with CircuitPython by just basically saying, when your code.py is done, we're done. But we'll restart after a certain amount of time or based on an event. And then your code, like you'll pay a higher cost to get everything going again. But the cost you pay when you're not doing anything will be much, much lower, which is where you actually spend most of your time. So it's been fun. It's been interesting. And we have 4 ports that we now support. So it's been okay, how do I do this on NRF? How do I do this on SAMD? How do I do it on IMX? How do I do it on STM? Which has been really interesting. So yeah. Okay. The one other thing I should, somebody asked me how working from home is going. For those of you who know, I'm in Seattle and COVID is around and we're asked to stay isolated. But as I said, I've worked from home for a long time, for 3+ years for Adafruit now. So that's not too bad. But one thing I want to do to actually make this a bit better for myself and others, hopefully, is I'm thinking about streaming this weekend. So keep an eye on the blog. And I'll actually have this project that is unrelated to sleep that I'm actually anxious to get back to, which is a firmware for all Adafruit boards, SAMD 51, IMX, and higher, based on tiny USB, that acts as a very, not super great, but good enough logic analyzer for SIGGRAPH. So yeah, it'll be really cool. What you'll be able to do is drag and drop a UF2 for tiny logic friend is what I'm calling it. And then you'll fire up SIGGRAPH and it will connect. It will tell you what all the pins are, and you can connect signals to those pins to get an I2C 400 kilohertz 2-pin sort of bus on there easily for debugging, like Brian was showing earlier.
All right. Well, I think that'll be super handy. And yeah, we have a great online community. Come on by if we do streams, Discord we have all the time. Mm-hmm. Everyone can visit. You want to take a break and hang out by the cyber water cooler, pick up some tips. And we also posted a whole bunch of other Discords that we are members of. All of them are very active and a fun place to hang out and learn stuff and meet new people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, let's go to JP.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey.
So I have egg updates. I've been working on egg drop projects using the clue. So typical physics class type of projects with dropping eggs and creating different landing vehicles. So I have a guide that just came out today. This is the vehicle that I created for the guide, which is it's really simple rubber bands and balloons contraption. And I used my clue board to verify the G-forces of the impact before I put the egg in there, which saves me from smashing a bunch of eggs on the way. In fact, here's the new version I'm working on, which is a cardboard box and rubber band variant. And you can see there, that's what the egg looks like when it has had a super high impact. So I actually had it slamming against the lid by accident with this one. But you can see here, let me try to get that to focus. we can hit a button and it resets it, and we get a little happy egg. And this is one that's actually proving to be pretty effective. I've tried it with and without bubble wrap, but essentially we get enough energy dissipated in the rubber bands flexing when the box impacts the ground, that we don't have a super sudden shock on the egg, or in this case on the clue. So I'll add this a little write-up of this once I've had a couple more tweaks to it, to that guide, so that people can try it with different materials. And then you can also go online. I included a video in the guide of a few other examples, about 4 or 5 really effective strategies for saving the lives of eggs.
Save the lives of eggs.
All right, thank you so much, JP.
We love eggs.
And we'll see you on your show tomorrow at 4.
Yeah, come by the show tomorrow. I'll be doing something different involving plants.
Okay,
So
tune in.
and learn what that's all about.
All right, next up, Nell and Pedro. Hello.
Hey, what's up, folks? So this weekend we actually put together an overview video for Adafruit I/O. So we put together some demos. Let's go ahead and which one? So I want to share this screen here so we can show our little dashboard. And I came up with a couple of dashboards real quick. I want to show you kind of like just really simple servo control. So let's see if we can you see that, Pedro? Yeah, can you see that? So there's the thing. I have it set to 30. So let's say we want it like 140 or something.
Yay.
And we could go back down.
Easy.
So that's a really simple, really easy to set up. It's really a testament to show how quick and easy it is to set up.
So very fast.
And then the next one is the environmental monitor. So this is a handful of sensors, and it's running off the ESP32, or actually the ESP8. Is the 8266?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So Pedro's holding it right there. We 3D printed a little stand for the doubler wing, so that helped us kind of prop it up there. So it's taking readings. These are real data. You can see on my little line chart here when we took it outside. Outside, it's a little bit hotter than it is inside, and we're just tracking lots of different values there. And it just looks like a really nice dashboard with all these awesome icons and typography.
Okay, thank you. We'll have the video in the show, and then come by next week if you want to show more. We're going to get to a bunch of people who came by.
Sure.
And check out the video. The video is amazing.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Pedro. Thank you. Okay, next up, Philb. Want to glitter us up?
Yay, hey. I got NeoPixel stuff going on, of course, the usual. We have a library, Adafruit NeoPixel 0 DMA, which uses DMA to update NeoPixels without stopping the CPU, so you can have more buttery animation stuff. However, that library has been like very out of date. We've had a lot of new boards, and it was really hit or miss whether it worked with new boards. So I have been going through it and updating it for a lot of new boards. So watch for version 1.2, probably tomorrow. Humorous anecdote, DMA for NeoPixel, it only works on certain pins on each board, and the pins are different on every board. And it's this horrible process of sorting out which pins to use. I looked at the job and said, this is going to take me hours, maybe all day. So I thought, what would Lady Ada do? She would write a script to do this. So that's what I did. I wrote a Python script to take care of this task for me. It only took me 3 days. So anyway, got it resolved, and we'll have new code. I think tomorrow I'll update the guide, and it now supports 21 different boards instead of 4 or 5. So that's the good news.
More NeoPixels. That's right. Don't forget, everybody, if you got a SAMD 21 or 51, we have DMA support for NeoPixels. So we have tons of memory on those chips too. So that will be for
you can do much more buttery animation.
Butter.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Philb. Bringing the butter.
All
right, next
Sophie,
up,
and then
Sophie.
Drew and Helen, and I'll take us all the way to the end.
Hi.
Hey, Sophie.
Hey, Sophie.
I'm working on a big prop for the costume that I'm making right now. This is a small little prototype of it. It's going to be this big glowing green orb. It'll actually be this big, but I want to have NeoPixels glowing inside it. So I started to mill some PCBs, and they're actually working. I'm so excited. So basically I want to make tiling milled PCBs that I can connect together to make like a tetrahedron or some kind of like orb shape that has lights on all sides, so they'll connect, kind of like that. But this is my first time milling a PCB and soldering these tiny 50/50 just bare NeoPixels. And I'm so excited it's actually working. So I did 2, and I've just connected them together just to make sure that when I put them together, these connections are all correct. And yeah, they're working.
Congratulations! It's a big thing. You're now a manufacturer. You're manufacturing PCBs. They look beautiful, and congratulations on getting those LEDs glowing. It's a great feeling.
Thank you.
All right, Sophie, I knew you could do it. All right, we're looking forward. Come back with your prop as you're doing more of it, because you always got amazing props. All right, thanks, Sophie. Okay, last but not least, Drew and Helen.
Hello.
Okay, 2 minutes, and we will go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Go ahead.
So everything I made this week kind of failed, but there was great learning in it. I made this, the new version of this like embroidered Crackerbox analog synth that I've been making, and it's really hard to solder thread onto chip legs in a workshop setting. So we've made this little flex PCB, like a little breakout board that allows you to sew. You can't, let's zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so on. But it turns out that if you don't use the teardrop plugin on KiCad, that flex just kind of breaks. The traces break if you flex it too much. So I spent a really long time embroidering something and then broke halfway through, which was kind of upsetting.
But you learned a lot.
Lesson learned, absolutely. Use teardrop plugins on KiCad. So we're doing like sewable PCBs, and once they work nicely, we'll put them on GitHub for people.
All right. Yay. Yeah. So other people can learn from your tragedy.
And this is a board that I designed based on a series of videos from Chris Gamble that teaches you how to use KiCad called Getting the Blinky. So this is kind of the version I came up with. And for people that bought tickets to the Open Hardware Summit, it's going to be held virtually, but we are still going to send out the goodie bags to people. And this was one of the items in the goodie bag, and it comes with a kit of parts from DigiKey. And people can either use those parts and design their own circuit board, or just practice surface mount soldering and solder onto this board, which I haven't finished soldering yet.
Okay.
And I'm sure you'll talk about it in Ask an Engineer, but everything's going to be online on Friday. We use StreamYard, and people can just go to the Open Hardware Summit website and watch all the talks stream live and chat about it in Discord.
Yay! I know it's gonna be great. Everyone, we've got a great community, and we have been a remote community for a decade. So I think it'll be fun. I think the Discord will be great.
Yeah, we'll show some of the photos of the badge build, different stages of it being manufactured. And then we'll get the word out for the virtual Open Hardware Summit. There's now a Discord server, which I think is going to be a place where people can hang out all year long.
Right.
So in times like this, there's always opportunities. Yeah, I can't imagine it like going anywhere else, because there's a lot of people that want to connect up anyways. So we'll see everybody in a few moments on Ask an Engineer. And we'll see a lot of you on Friday with Open Hardware Summit. And we'll see you next week on Show and Tell.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to get ready for our next show. Thank you for coming by.
Yep, we're here every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We've been doing the Show and Tell for a decade, bringing people around the world together, even if it's just a few minutes every single week. And there's no better time than now to start using some of these tools to show and share your projects.
Yes, it's people have, if you have internet, you have a webcam, you can have conferences. We do remote conference stuff all the time.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
See you on Ask an Engineer.
See you, everybody. Be here in 5 minutes.